let's continue our dive into this data. So now what I want to do is let's go back to our pivot table here. And instead of looking at what's going on by the year, let's go and take a look at what's going on by the month. And so it does definitely, we can just quickly look at this data here, and we can see there's definitely a variation by the month. So what I want to do is I want to just come over here once again, and I'm going to paste the values down, and let's format it because I'm gonna end up playing around with this. Just gonna grab those 2 months of blue. Actually, once again, I would probably, in fact, let's go and do that now. I'd probably have these in different columns, so I can adjust the width and everything. And I haven't. I was lazy in the last example, but let's actually go and do this to be more technically correct. So we'll drop this here. I'm going to move the notes to below because I want these to look good when I go to put them in the reports, and they're not going to look good like this. So what I'm going to do is just going to make that one larger so it all fits on one thing. Get rid of the fill in those. Now I'll move my note back over. And so there we go. Now that looks more professional. We'll do the same thing here. Just going to take this data. We're going to move it to here. And then I'm going to move my pivot table up because we may, I'm not sure, we may refer to this again. Okay, so let's go over here, double click that, set this row to just number, and we are going to center it in the column. Okay, so definitely looks like, and our note flags onto there, so we're going to go vary by year. I'm going to hit Shift and Enter. Oops, actually I think it's Alt and Enter. Alt and Enter, that's the, oh wait, I was holding Control. Alt and Enter, that's the carriage return, puts it on another line. Actually it ends up resizing that cell too. Yeah, maybe we don't want to do that. Let's undo that. So we'll do the hard, basically a hard carriage return. I'll just Control X to cut that off. We'll just put it down here. Control V. So there we go. Now we got that together. Back to this guy here. So seems like we've got some variation going on. So let's put that note down there so we remember it. So note. It looks like sales do vary monthly. Should we group them? So do we have some kind of seasons? Well, let's just highlight this data and go to our conditional formatting. It's under Home. Conditional formatting, and we're going to go to color scales, and we'll do a 3-color scale. And what that does is that automatically starts coloring it from the one we picked. The lowest are in red and the highest are in green, and there's like a gradual change between those. Why did I do that? Well, it makes it easier to do what we're going to do, which is start to group things. So if I look at it, I've got this really strong month here. This strong high sales month. So let's actually start building these groups. So I have groups and months. And so my group, we'll call it high sales. Really seems to be going through that June to September timeline. And then I can look at all my red, and I can see this red, this would be a natural another group. So it seems that we have a group of low sales And those low sales are going from November back to April. So November to April. And as we can see, we got this much lighter green here in May and October, and that we'll call that our mid-level sales. So that's May and October. Okay, and so we do have this variation by month. Things are going to change by what month that we're dealing with. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make some dummy variables for there. And basically what we're going to do is we'll have a high sales and we'll have a mid sales, and we'll use the low sales as our reference category. Why do we use that as our reference category? Because it is the lowest of those. Now you'll notice we don't have the same number of months in each of these. We don't need them. That is not something that is required. Okay, so one more thing with the data table. I want to look at, we know it varies by month. I want to look at the city. And I want to make sure, I'm going to put that in columns. I want to make sure that that's the same kind of thing that is going on. And so I'm going to copy this over. I'm not going to grab the grand total because I don't care. I just care about the cities right now. And so we're going to do Control V. And actually, we want to do numbers only and then formatting. And so that's what we've got there. And let's, first of all, get those centered. We are going to make them numbers, so there is just 2 decimal places. And I just kind of quickly want to go back to my conditional formatting. I want to run my color scales and see. Unfortunately, if I do it all together, it's going to scale everything in there. So I just want to do Phoenix, and then I want to do San Francisco. So we'll do that one there, and then we'll do that one there with the same formatting. And as we can look at it, we can see that we've got, between the two of them, the high months track together, the mid months are kind of tracking together, and then the low months all come together. Now, Phoenix, December is the lowest, San Francisco, January is the lowest, but they're still in that low month that we initially put together. So that kind of confirms what we were doing and what we've already said. So I want to clear those rules from the cell. And so what I'm going to do is January through April. I'm going to give an accent color to, and I'll leave the same one in November to December. And then we'll, for our visualization, lowest selling months. We'll italicize that, and we'll give it the same shade. And then we'll make these ones more of a green, and we'll tag these as highest selling months. Now, if we were going to be writing a big report for all this, these would be important visualizations to be able to show off. So you can quickly look at this and go, okay, I know what we're breaking up. It's really easy to see which are the highest and lowest selling months. And once again, it's like everything else. Visualization is really about sending out, having people understand your data. And so what we'd also need to do is, if we were going to put this in a report, we'd say month. And then up here, we would end up calling the city. And I will merge and center that. Now, usually this right here, once again, I like my titles very clear and distinct, that I know what's going on. And so I would merge and center this across the top, and then maybe drop a line down there. So there, now it looks clean, I can see it, and I know exactly what's going on. Okay, so I think we've identified what variables that we're going to want to use in our regression analysis. So we're definitely going to be using our city. We are definitely going to be using our month, but we're going to group these months up into where their natural sales kind of been together. I am going to keep year in. It doesn't look like it's going to vary depending on the year, but I want to hold on to that one and see if it really does matter. It doesn't cost us anything to put it into our regression analysis. And then obviously we're going to carry across the ad cost and the unemployment figures. And so that's what we're going to do in the next video. So stay tuned.